What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my video. So today we're going to be doing some work on my 2024 Duramax. So recently, if you guys saw the last upload, I got the headlights out of this truck. They're out currently being built right now. So a couple things I want to do maintenance-wise on this truck. Now, I know I'm a little bit overkill when it comes to maintenance. You guys don't have to do necessarily what I do to my truck, but for a little bit of money it costs in the fluids, and my time is obviously free because my truck, I might as well go ahead and do it. So today, what we're going to be doing is changing the rear diff fluid on my 2024 Duramax. So now, does the rear diff fluid need to be changed this early? I got about 5,000 miles on the truck. Absolutely not. I just want to get all the break-in metals and that fine metal out of the rear diff and see what the fluid looks like. I did the same exact thing on my 20 when I got it at the time, and fluid looked good. There's really no metal on the magnets, so we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the 24. So without further ado, let's go ahead to the back, and I plan on doing the rear and front diff as well. So let's start with the rear and work our way to the front. Alright, so before we even hop into the video, a weird thing that I just discovered on the rear end of this truck was when I went to go take out the actual drain plug for the rear diff, apparently, I believe I read on the forums that it started in 22 or 23 that GM changed, I guess, the rear axles on these. Something along those lines. I'm sure it's the same axle, but whatever the case may be, there's no drain plug on these axles anymore. And I can't believe it. It's actually getting kind of annoying with these trucks that you pay all this money. You can't service the transmission on your own easily anymore because there's no dipstick. The rear diff, you can't change the fluid. I believe the front diff is the same way. So annoying. They're trying to make these trucks, I believe, in my opinion, that things break so you bring it back to them to make more money. But we're still going to go ahead and get it serviced. I'm just going to go ahead and pop the rear diff cover off and drain it that way. The front, I will probably do that another day because I don't think there's a drain plug on the front either. So without further ado, let's hop to the rear and we'll get that cover busted off. So we're under the rear right now, and as you can see, there is the fill plug for the diff. I'm going to come underneath here. Kind of, if you can see right in, believe right there, that's where the drain plug should be, but it is no longer there. So what we're going to do is bust this cover off. I got my drain pan right here. I'm going to start taking the 13mm bolts out all the way across, slowly, just back each one out. Now, I'm not going to take every single bolt out. I'm just going to back them out probably 3/4 of the way, and then kind of gently with a screwdriver pry back on that. There's a gasket behind it. I'm going to try not to nuke that so we can reuse it because I wasn't expecting this, but next time around I'll probably pull it off, put a new gasket on it. But for now, that's what I'm going to do, so let's work on getting those bolts off. Alright, so as you can see, I got most of them loosened except for those two up there. I needed a deep 13mm, I believe. Let me just verify it's a 13. Yep, so once I get those two taken off, I'll just gently pry back on the cover, but as you can see, it's already dripping out. Fluid looks pretty good. But the main reason I was doing this is for the magnet. Normally there's a magnet on the bottom that you can wipe off all the crap. So I'm not exactly sure if there's a magnet on the back side of this one or what the deal is, but we'll figure it out when we get it off. So when we get these two pried off, then we'll get it fully drained out here and refilled. Alright, so let's get these last two off. That's good. We'll get this one. There we are. Perfect. So, as you can see, that fluid looks pretty decent. And I didn't even have to do anything, pry the cover or nothing with a screwdriver, which is nice. So we'll let this drain out, then we'll go about refilling it. Okay, so as you can see, I went ahead and took the fill plug out. Now, be careful because as you can see, here is the plug. This is the rubber grommet. I'm going to try to get it the best I can. There's like a little collared end that sticks up ever so slightly. The camera's not going to focus. Oh, maybe you'll see it there. That needs to go inwards like that, the collared end. You'll see what I mean if you do it. But I'm going to go ahead, get this plug wiped off. There's really nothing in there. No debris or nothing. I don't think this is magnetic, but we got it all drained, and let this drain the rest of the way out. As you can see, it's still dripping. Then we'll go ahead and get it refilled with the proper amount. So, I'm going to go ahead and start working on getting the diff cover put back in. Now, before I get yelled at by you guys, apparently this rear cover gasket for this is apparently a one-time use item. Not really too concerned about it at this point in time. Now, apparently if you pull this out, you're supposed to put all new thread locker on all these bolts. Now, with my truck being such low mileage, I don't think this is going to be a problem, but if you have a higher mileage truck and you're not as crazy with maintenance as I am, and you plan on like running this for a long amount of miles, another 50,000 or whatever, it's probably worth doing it. But for me, I'm going to do it a few more times here in the future. So if it leaks or whatever, I have the time to pull it out and address the situation if these bolts leak. But don't be like me, and if you're planning on running in a while, like I said, just go ahead and put some thread locker on all these bolts and you'll be good to go. So I'm working on doing that now, getting these all retorqued, then we'll get it refilled. Alright, so I just went ahead and I got the cover bolts torqued back on here to 30 foot-pounds. I went in a crisscross pattern, tightened them all by hand in a crisscross, and went back and just went right around and torqued them all at 30. I made 2 passes just to make sure everything was good. Now we're going to go ahead and get this refilled with gear oil. So I'm going to show you guys what gear oil I'm using for this right now. So this is the gear oil I use right here. It's 75/90. This is the same stuff I use on my Kubota machines and everything like that. Now you could go crazy and get the AMS oil. I'm just not a believer in spending that type of money because how often I'm going to change it, I don't think it's worth it. So we're going to go ahead here now, get the rear diff filled up. The spec I believe is 2.8 quarts. I'm going to dump 3 in, just to be a little bit on the safe side. Now if it's overflowing out of the drain plug there, or the fill plug there, that's a problem. But the spec's like I believe ½ an inch below, which should take about 3 quarts. So if it's a little bit overfilled, not worried about it. When it's super overfilled, that's when it's a problem. So we're going to go ahead, get 3 of these put in the back, and that will wrap the job up. So I went ahead and got the 3 quarts added of the rear diff fluid, so we're all set to go. The final thing was the fill plug right there at the top on the actual cover. I torqued that back down as well. I went to 30 foot-pounds as well on that, so got that all wrapped up, not leaking anymore, so we're all good to go. Alright, so that about wraps up the video for this week, guys. Like you saw, GM is making these trucks a real pain in the butt to do a simple service. I had to bust the whole rear cover off. It should not be like that. All the earlier models from, I believe, LB7 all the way up, you could drain it from the bottom of the diff. Not the case anymore on these newer trucks, but if you're going to do it like me, be sure to do it the right way. Don't reuse the cover. Put some thread sealant back on the bolts. Me, I just want to get this done today, and I had no idea it was going to be this involving. I thought it was going to be like any other rear diff service. It would take me 15 minutes, but not the case this time around. A little bit more difficult. So if you guys are new here, be sure to subscribe. If you like this video, be sure to leave it a big thumbs up. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Stop this conversation. We got no relation.